to another Super Nintendo collection video. Hope you're well. I know it's been a while, but you know where I've been, in America. And you know what, guys, I picked up some cool games while I was in America, and this is what we're going to showcase in this video today. What I picked up, and have a actually look at the retro shops that I actually saw. I've done a couple of videos of the shops that I went in where I bought some of the games, so we can have a look at that. And also have a look at where my collection is going. Because guys, it is getting a lot bigger. I've had to rearrange my whole back wall, as you can see. I've now put all my, well actually not all of them, but 2 rows on edge, so I can actually showcase some of the box art of some of my favourite games. Because this is how I remember it, guys. I remember going into the shop, seeing these games with all the artwork on display, and that really drew me in. I had to pick the game up, have a look on the back, see if there's any screenshots, and most of the time I judged the game on the screenshot on the back, because we didn't have the internet back then. All we had was Super Play and a few other magazines in the UK, and that was the only way really you could get to know what the game was like, unless you had a friend that owned one. So I think it's really nice to have some of the artwork on display. So, but what this means is I'm limited on really how many games I can have. So I've got a list of all the games that I want. It's been really difficult narrowing it down. It's still not quite there, but I'm roughly thinking around about 160 games, and then I'm going to stop there. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop carrying on collecting for the Japanese Super Famicom. As you can see, I've still got a lot of them up here. I've just been swapping a few around as I've been picking up American ones, moving my Japanese ones on if I've got copies of them. But I've got this whole space up here for more Japanese games. Some of the more expensive ones, some of the ones that only come out in Japan will be going up here. As you can see, I've got my Wii, GameCube and Wii U collection. Quite small, but I've got my favourites, the ones I go back to. And I've got a little space here for my one and only Switch game. As you can see, Zelda. I need to pick up some new Switch games. But I've been spending a lot on Super Nintendo games recently, which we're going to have a look at in this video and the following video. I've got some more coming. So where do we start? Well, I think we should start with what I picked up in the US. Have a look at some of the shops that I went in. It's going to be difficult because I haven't got a tripod. Left my tripod in America, so I don't know how I'm going to go about this. This is why I'm sort of holding it and moving it around the room at the moment. But I thought you'd like to see the room, because I have just moved things around. I've moved all my consoles actually side on now, so you can see some of the artwork. But I've moved a lot of consoles upstairs and arcade sticks and stuff like that I'm not bothered about showcasing, and just stored them upstairs in the loft. But there you go. So let's get straight into it, guys. Let's have a look at what we picked up in America. Right, guys, so you want to know how I got on in America? I had a fantastic time, and thanks to Whitney, got to see some really cool retro gaming shops, which were called Books and Music Exchange. So a little bit like CEX, loads of DVDs, Blu-rays, modern games, Wii's, Xbox, but it had a good selection of retro games, a lot more than what you'd find here in the UK. I mean, I don't actually know any retro gaming shops in London anymore. They've all pretty much gone. Retro Game Base is shut down now, which is a shame, and all you're left with is CEX, which these shops are very similar to, but they just had so much more retro. Racks and racks of loose games mainly, which I'm not really looking for. What I wanted to find was some lovely box Super Nintendo games, which eventually I did. But in the first 2 or 3 shops, it was difficult to find. But we spent so much time sieving through all these loose NES games, looking for the gems, because you never know. You might find a game that's mispriced. I know Tootie's always doing it, so I'm thinking of you, Tootie. Even I'm going through these games, I think I've got to find a gem here. Unfortunately, I didn't find any, but still, I love looking through all these games. It's what I've always done. It's the way I've enjoyed this hobby, is sieving through all the physical copies. I could never get into downloading games unless I have to. You know, if they don't get a physical release, then I'll have to buy it DLC. But I prefer physical copies, and this is what's great. When you actually see the game there, you're not buying it on eBay, you don't know what you're getting. Here you can see the price, what they want, the condition, whether there's any scratches, any marks, and I just love all that. And then you can judge for yourself whether it's worth that price. So I'm going to show you now, guys, a video of me walking around one of the books and music exchange stores that I went in America. Have a look at this. Loads of NES games, loose, reasonably priced, lots of X rental. Yeah, Snes games. Some of them are not in the best condition, but you know, loads of Sega Genesis. And they've just got loads and loads of games in here. PS2, PS3, and over here, Xbox. It's a huge shop. Loads of stuff. Right guys, so there you have it. That's the retro gaming stores in America. Pretty cool actually. Loads of loose games. N64, SNES, NES, racks of Game Boy Advance games. I mean, it'd take you forever to get through all of that. I spent quite a while going through it because you never know. There's usually a gem. You might find a gem in there, especially Game Boy Advance. People don't know what some of the games are worth, so it's worth checking through. So me and Whitney had a lot of time actually. We spent the whole afternoon going through these retro gaming stores, going through all the games and asking the bloke behind the counter. I mean, that was quite funny actually. I put on a real Cockney accent. I said, "All right, mate, got any SNES games?" And he's like, "What? Got any SNES games, mate?" He didn't know what I was saying. It was quite funny. I did put it on quite a bit. He said, "Oh, you're not from around here?" Oh, I said, "No, mate, I'm from London. Do you know what I mean?" He just went straight over his head. Whitney looked round and said, "What are you doing, you fucking idiot?" But yeah, it was funny putting the old Cockney accent on in these American stores because they just didn't know what to think. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So we went round. That was the first shop we went in. I think I picked up a couple of loose games in there, and then we wandered, took about, I don't know, to the third shop. Got to the third shop in his local town, and this guy had a lovely display of box Super Nintendo games. And 3 of them were on my hit list, and I thought, wow, how much are we going to spend here? Because I wanted to save some money for Atlanta. I didn't know what Atlanta was going to behold, so I thought, you know, I'm just going to buy one of these games. So the guy had about 5 really box, minty games. Secret of Mana, Mario RPG, and and Kirby's All Stars, Tasmania I think was sealed, and a few others. You know, there's a few nice games in there to choose from, and I thought, you know what, I know what I'm going to have straight away, and it's a game I played and finished back in the day. I remember when the end credits came up thinking, man, that is a beautiful game. What a fantastic game that was. I really enjoyed, finished this game, probably back in '92. It is Secret of Mana. Pick this up, guys. Look, mint condition. I knew straight away this was the game I was going to pick. I did think about Mario RPG. I've never played that game, and of course it's an in-house Nintendo game. You know, I thought about that for a while actually, but I thought, you know, I'm safe with this game. This is a cool game. Nice to have this back in the collection. So guys, if you ever pick this up, mint, you've got to get the manual and you've got to get the poster. It comes with a beautiful poster with a map on the reverse side. There's the map, there's the poster, and it comes with the instruction booklet, which is really well detailed. It's got all the magic, it's got all the weapons, levels and obstacles, levels up, battle strategies. It's just a beautiful presented manual, something that we miss from today's games. Really, really cool. So that is a nice gem to come back with. That is what I wanted to find. I would be happy just with this, but I did pick up another gem that we'll have a look at in a minute. But from the other retro shops, I picked up these. Now I picked these up because they were good deals. They're not in the best condition, and they're games that I've never played or heard of, and I thought, you know, I'm going to take a chance on them. So I picked up Adam's Family Value. Not in the best condition, as I say. It's got a label on there, but we'll get that off with the label remover. Guys, if you haven't got a label remover, you've got to get yourself a tin of this. It does what it says on the tin, removes labels, right? Get yourself one of that. You brush it on, come back 10 minutes later, put some more on, come back another 10 minutes later. Just get your nail underneath and it will slowly peel off really easy without damaging the cardboard box. So we'll get that off easy. So yeah, I did play a little bit of this. It's quite a slow start. I didn't get into much combat. It's kind of like a puzzle game. Find the key, find the door, open the door, get to the next area, that kind of thing. But I think there's a little bit more to it than I've brushed on so far. But it looks cool. I think there's about 3 or 4 different types of Adam Family games in the Super Nintendo collection. Don't know if this is the best one, but still cool pickup. Hook, I played the other night, couldn't get into, found it too slow, really slow platform game with really irritating music. Yeah, had to turn it off. So I don't know how long I'm going to keep this one for, but it's a pickup. This one I'm really intrigued about. Bill Lambert's Combat Basketball. I looked at it and I thought basketball. Yeah, basketball's cool, like NBA Jam. Looked on the back, combat. Really? Is that a theme? Is that a mechanic? Yes, it is. It looks like Speedball, actually, and I love Speedball. Got it on the Game Boy Advance. Really cool game. Obviously, it's a Mega Drive port, or Amiga. I think it was an Amiga game as well. So I'm interested to see how this plays, whether it's similar to Speedball. Might have to do gameplay of this, guys. Looks really, really cool, actually. So that was a nice pickup. And I picked up Smart Ball, which I have heard is terrible. I'm sure it is terrible. But I had to pick it up. Not in the best condition either. Sometimes I don't care about the condition. Sometimes I know it's been played, you know, it's been used, appreciated, and you know it's not fake. It's got a few wears on the corner. Obviously the games that I really, really want in my collection, I'm going for mint, if I can get them. And they're not fake. I'm going to get onto fake a bit later on in this video. So from there, excuse me, so we did 3 or 4 retro shops. Obviously I've got a load of loose NES games. And thanks Whitney for taking me to all of those shops. I really appreciate it. It was the highlight, one of the highlights of my stay in America. Having a good old rummage around the retro gaming shops. Really, really cool. Because you don't get that in London. You just don't see them. You have to go to retro markets these days, and they're always up north, and normally I can't make it. So that was cool. Cool to see. So from there we went on to Atlanta. Still had a bit of money saved, And to be honest with you, I was a little bit disappointed with the turnout of stalls or traders at the event. There was probably only one or two. Bit gutted, to be honest with you, because I've saved some of the money. And if I'd known this, I probably would have bought Mario RPG. But this guy had a few games, nothing special. Really nice guy, actually. He had Vegas Stakes. So I just picked it up because I wanted to take as many games home with me as I could. I wouldn't normally have brought this back home. I don't know why I picked that up, because I'm never going to play that. And what else did he have? Oh, this one here. I haven't even played this yet. Is it Poco's Modern Life? Is it Pocky and Rocky, or not Pocky and Rocky? Rocco. Is it Rocco or Poco? I don't know. I don't think it's that great a game. It's another platform game, but still an unusual pickup. I've never seen this on eBay on the UK. I think this was about $10. If you pick up a game for $10, box complete, you got to pick it up. You know what I mean? You wouldn't get that in the UK unless it's a really crap game like FIFA. But anyway, the bloke said, "Look, come back in an hour. My mate is he wants to sell some of his games on my stall. So if you come back in an hour, you might meet him. He might have some really cool stuff." So I did. I came back and I met this guy called Captain Retro, who I did mention in my last video. Really cool guy, got a really cool YouTube channel. I'll put a link to his YouTube channel in this video below. He had a couple of really cool games. And one of them was a Snes game, and one of them was, well, it was Chrono Trigger, right? Chrono Trigger I've been wanting for ages. I've heard so many good things about this game. It is one of the best RPGs on the Super Nintendo, so I've got to play it. The only thing that I'm worried about this game is the turn-based aspect. I'm not really that hot on those sort of turn-based games. I find them a little bit lackluster, a little bit boring. I prefer the action, you know, real-time action RPGs like Zelda and Secret of Mana. We're actually fighting. But I put it on the other night, you know, I'm going to play all of these games. And I was hooked for a couple of hours. I was playing this game. I couldn't believe the time just went. What a fantastic storyline. The only trouble I had was finding a save point, and it was getting to like midnight, and I was thinking, where is the save point? I couldn't find it, and I got so tired I had to turn the console off, which I was a bit gutted about really, because I've now got to go back and do the whole lot again. But really enjoying this, guys. This is a fantastic game so far, and I haven't heard a bad thing about it, so really cool to pick this up. It's in excellent condition, except for one of the flaps has got a little bit of a tear on it, but other than that, and it's missing, there's a little tiny map that's missing out of it, but you know, I can pick that up. They are available to get. So yeah, with that and Secret of Mana, I'm happy. I'm a happy camper, coming back with these two games from America. Two really nice gems, and I'm lacking some good RPGs in my collection. So it's nice to get them. He did me a good deal actually, Captain Retro. I think it was $215 for Chrono Trigger and Super Mario 2. And as I was outside having a cigarette, or fag, with John Jakes, I'm not allowed to say fag in America, it means something completely different. He just said, "Do you want this?" So he gave me a loose copy of Double Dragon. So Captain Retro, you're a top geezer. Thanks for giving us that, mate. Really, really cool. So that was an excellent deal. So don't forget, I would have paid customs on all of those games. You know, maybe 10, 20 quid on top. So really good deal, really chuffed with all of that. So that was all my stuff from America. Really enjoyed it actually. It was really, really cool. Just wish there was more traders at Atlanta, but still I'm happy with all of that. So it was really cool. So now we get on to some other stuff that I picked up on UK eBay and other bits and pieces. Have a look at this stuff. Oh, it's getting hot in here, guys. And I daren't open that door. If I open that door, I'm just going to get attacked by a load of mosquitoes. They just obviously feel the heat and they just come straight in here. So I'm just going to have to sweat it out, Tootie styley. Poor old Tootie in his greenhouse or whatever he's in. What is it you're in? Greenhouse, is it? Anyway, let's get on to what I've been picking up here in the UK on eBay and various other places. First up, some really nice prints from Matt, Soul Funk Retro, I think he goes by the name of. He does some lovely prints, and you can buy these already framed. If you go to the events like Replay, or these gaming markets, you often see Matt there stalling out, and he produces these lovely 16-bit, 8-bit, and probably 32-bit as well. I don't know, every type of game he does artwork for, you name it. I'm only interested in sort of these 16-bit type games, arcade games, and this is R-Type, the end of level boss, as we know, of level 1. Classic scene there, we know that image, don't we? Recognise that straight away. As soon as you see that, you know what game it is, just for that boss. Really nice to get this frame, just go up my wall. I'm running out of wall space, and as you can see, I've recently just got this Demon's Crest. I've just put it up as I was editing this video, actually. This is out of Nintendo Power. So I've got a Rock'n'Roll Racing and Demon's Crest out of Nintendo Power. Yet to pick that up, but stay tuned, stay tuned. Really cool game. Another R-Type print and a Metroid print from Matt. Thank you very much, Matt. Really pleased with these. Gonna go up on my wall. Really cool. Yes, if you want to get in contact with Matt for any of these type of prints, go. I think he's got a Facebook page called Soul Funk Retro. Check him out, guys. Really nice guy. Does some lovely, lovely art. Right, my pickups, my Snes pickups, bit of a mixed bunch here, guys, and I haven't really played any of these games except for this one, Fate of Fury 2. Put a cheeky little bid on this, won it for £45. It's partially sealed. I thought, bargain. It's great. I love it when they come partially sealed. If you don't feel too guilty opening, breaking the seal and getting into the game. If it's already broken, then that's cool, because it's kind of brand new anyway, isn't it? But yeah, this is not a bad game. Not the best fighter, but it's alright. So I think it's a Neo Geo game. It's really cool. I quite enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun with that. Nice box art. And in immaculate condition. Look at that, guys. So yeah, really pleased to get that. I haven't got one or three yet, so I need to get them. Next one, I think this is probably one of the worst games on the Super Nintendo, I've been told. I haven't played it yet, so I'm not going to say. But fantastic film, and of course you got a lot of these movie tie-ins on the Super Nintendo. This is probably one of the worst movie tie-ins, but again, I got this really cheap. Had to pick it up. Actually, I was getting confused with another movie tie-in called True Lies. Now, that is supposed to be an excellent game. I am actively searching that out for the Super Nintendo, but I haven't played this yet. I'm going to give it a go. Got to give it a go. Might be alright. Sometimes I like these easy, corny type run and gun games. I think they're quite fun, you know. As long as the hit detection's good and you know, it's not too harsh on you, I don't mind, you know. So I'll give that a go. Next up is an RPG. Done well on the RPGs this month, haven't I? Lagoon. About time, because I've hardly had any. I mean, I think I've only got, before this month, I only had Zelda. So it's nice to pick up a few RPGs. Don't know anything about this game, Lagoon. But yeah, willing to give it a go. Not in bad condition. A few little nicks there, knocks at the bottom. But overall, not too bad. So yeah, nice to get another RPG in the collection. What's it like, guys? I don't know. Have you played Lagoon? Any good? And another RPG. Can't believe it. This one is supposed to be quite a good one. In fact, it's in the Super Plays Top 100 along with Breath of Fire and Breath of Fire 2. But unfortunately, the reason why I did get this cheap, and I didn't actually notice on the listing that it was this bad. I saw a bit of a ding there. You know, I saw it had some wear, but obviously it's been crushed, that end. Can you see that? So it's got more damage than I was expecting. But, you know, I think I only paid, what, 50 quid for this? And usually they go for a hell of a lot more, over £100 normally. But, yeah, I mean, it's complete. It's got the manual. I don't think the manual's in great condition either. But you know what? I'll play it. And if it's a really good game, then I might upgrade it to a better version. But yeah, the manual's not too bad. Look at that. It's been used. People have played it. That's always a good sign. Sometimes we get these games and they're immaculate. You think, blimey, what was wrong with that game? Did you never play it? Or maybe just because he looked after it. I don't know. It's got a map with this game as well. always get a little map with the RPGs, don't you? It's always nice to get. Look at that, guys. And we've got kind of artillery of weapons there on the back, which is cool. I'm sure this has been ported to other systems, Breath of Fire. I'm sure it has. So that is it on the old games, on the Super Nintendo games. Quite a lot there, guys, isn't there? Also picked up some Super Play. Nearly finished my Super Play collection. Got issue number 44 and 46. Unfortunately, towards the end of the Super Play's life, it started moving on to the N64. Especially with this issue, it just goes on about the N64. It might have just called it Super 64 or whatever, because that's all they talk about. I don't think there's hardly any reviews in here for the Super Nintendo. You've got probably 3 or 4 in here. Puyo Puyo Remix, Olympic Summer Games. See, it's the end of its life, unfortunately, and that's it. Not great, so I'm not going to flick through that because we don't really want to talk about the N64. Not my favourite console, I have to admit. And this one's not too bad. It's got Star Kirby Super Deluxe reviewed in here, which is the game that I saw in America. I nearly picked it up. Again, another top-end Snes game to buy. I think it goes for about 150 quid. Also reviewed Super Mario RPG. I think I'm going to have to pick this one up. I think it's supposed to be a good game. Never played it, but they've given it 81%. So, only 4 Super Plays left to get. I'm nearly there. Can't wait to finish that. Then I'd like to get the binders, because it is such a great magazine. It really is. Right, now I just want to talk about, guys, before we finish up and before we go and do a little bit of gameplay. I've got a bit of Q&A as well. I've got a couple of questions from some people. How am I going to go about collecting? Well, I'll tell you what. I've got most of my favourite games now. I'm really just fishing around, really, for stuff maybe that I missed out on back in the day. I've got 171 games that I want on this list. These pieces of paper here is every single Super Nintendo game released for the American market, right? And I've ticked off all the ones that I've got, and next to it the ones that I want to get. So there's 171 games on here I want, and that's including the ones I've already got. I think I could narrow that down a little bit more. I mean, do I need like Mortal Kombat 1? Not really. I mean, I've got Mortal Kombat Ultimate on the Super Nintendo. That's the best one. I don't need 1 and 2 really. What else we got on here? Supernova, expensive game, a lot cheaper on the Japanese. Super Turricane 2, I will definitely be looking for that next year. Not a game for me this year. That goes for well over £500. I've still yet to get Super Star Wars, the third one, Return of the Jedi. Still missing that. Turtles in Time, missing. Thunder Spirits, missing. Total Carnage. Top Gear 2 I've got, but my copy's really bad, so what I might be doing is just upgrading. I mean, I could go through this whole list. Wario Woods, is that any good? I don't know. Urban Strike, well, that's like Desert Strike. That would be cool to get. Weapon Lord, I think I've already got. Wild Guns I've got a copy of, but mine's in a pretty poor state, so at some point I will upgrade that. But you've got to be so careful with fakes. If you're going to go for mint copies, CIB copies of these games, you've got to be so careful. We've all done it. We've all bought fakes. I bought that Super NES Junior. That was a fake. I got totally fucked on that. And it's so easy to get done. Make sure if you're buying Super Nintendo games, especially when they're boxed in a minute, make sure you get to see the ROMs. Ask the seller if you can have a look inside the cart. If he can't show you that, then don't buy it, especially if it's from a foreign country, okay? Alright, you've got to find out, you've got to make sure that the ROMs, you can actually find out the ROM numbers. If you just go on the internet and type in the game, it will give you the ROM number and it should match up with the ROM in the game. Make sure you do that, especially if you're spending a lot of money. I did it with Pocky and Rocky, but the guy had it with Pocky and Rocky 2. The guy had it all opened up so you could see the ROMs. In fact, what we'll do in a minute, we'll open one of my games up and I'll show you what I mean, right? What else we got on here? Prince of Persia. I'm not too fussed about it. Run Saber. Got to have Run Saber. That's like the Super Nintendo's equivalent of Strider. The Addams Families, there's a few games here. I've got the Values, just picked that up. Got ActRaiser, got ActRaiser 2. Alien 3, I haven't got. Aero Fighters. Well, Aero Fighters goes for big bucks, guys. So that's going to have to be a Super Famicom game. I'm not going to buy an American version of that. Axley. I still haven't got Axley. Another 150 quid game. Biker Mice from Mars. That looks like rock and roll racing. I've got to pick that up. Catcoma Knights and Bizarland got. I mean, there's just so many here, guys. I'll tell you what I haven't got, which I need to get, which is the Donkey Kong Country series. I haven't got one single Donkey Kong Country. Don't worry, I have played it. I had the PAL version, and I've played Donkey Kong 1 and 2. Really good games, but I've never played Donkey Kong 3, so I'm looking forward to getting those. Got to get them in the collection. Choplifter 3 is another classic. Not sure whether they got an American release. Excuse me, I've got a tickly cough. Earthbound, obviously, but that's going to be next year. I'm going to be picking that up. Final Fantasy, I don't know yet. I'm not sure about that. Hagane, I've got Hagane on Super Famicom. I doubt if I get the American version. Again, it goes well over 12 to 1500 quid, maybe more, on a good day. Indiana Jones. So many, guys, so many. But what I'm trying to say is you have to have a list. You've got to have a list. There's got to be an end. Unless you've got the space and the money, you've got to have an end. I mean, once I get my 160 odd games, I'll still be going back and upgrading them. Because there's some there that are missing manuals, some that are in not great condition, obviously like Wild Guns. And there's games I want to pull out that I don't like and replace with good ones. So, you know, and obviously I'm still going to be collecting the Super Famicom, so I'm still going to be doing the videos, but I do want to see an end to the American collection, and I'm not far off it really. I think another year we'll be there. So that's it pretty much. I've got some questions from some of the people. Let's just have a look. I'm going to have to find where they are and then we'll come back to it. Alright guys, well I've just gone back and looked at my last Snes video. I can't see any questions there, so maybe I haven't got any questions this week. No one wants to ask me any questions. Fair enough, no problem, I don't mind. But someone did ask me, when I was in SFGE, someone did ask me, he's been watching my channel, he said fantastic collection, and he said I've got loads of stuff, but I've got too much stuff, I need to get rid of it. He said, I noticed that you've slimmed down a little bit recently over the years, because he's been watching my channel right from the word go, you know, because I had a whole row of Nintendo arcade machines here at one stage. This was just full of machines. And all my console stuff was upstairs. And he said, you know, was it easy to get rid of stuff? And I said, yeah, most of it was, really. I mean, you've got to weigh it up. How much you're playing the game, how much you appreciate it. I mean, I've got everything really in this room now that I don't want to get rid of, if I have to. Obviously, if I was ill, like I have been over the years, I've had some pretty big operations, and you know, it's left me skint. I'm self-employed. I need the money, you know, and that's more important than a roof over your head. And recently I just sold my Famicom collection, and the reason for that is I've got most of the Famicom games on the NES, and it seems stupid having doubles of games on different regions, you know, so I just kind of got rid of the whole lot and made up a lot more room for my SNES collection, which I've now got a really nice display with some of them side on so you can see the box art, and I prefer it that way. I wouldn't want to get rid of my remaining arcade machines. The ones in the summer house I could get rid of tomorrow, but I don't want to. But these three here, Donkey Kong Jr., Sheriff Donkey Kong, Space Launcher, are my babies. I'd never get rid of them. But I guess if I had to, it'd have to be the SNES collection. I mean, I've done it before. I sold my whole PAL collection because I needed the money for a new van. And at the end of the day, it's just stuff. And at least with the SNES stuff, you can get it back again. And I've managed to get my whole SNES collection back, and more, in the last 2 years. But if I sold my Sheriff and my Donkey Kong, it'd be a lot harder to get back. So I would never want to sell them, and I would like to pass them on down to my kids anyway when I move on. But at the end of the day, it is just stuff. And if you're not playing it and it's taking up a lot of room, just sell it on, guys. I mean, I'd rather have access to my games than just loads of stuff everywhere and you can't move. But yeah, it's just the way, however you want to go about collecting, really, at the end of the day. Everyone's different, and you can see that with my game room tour videos. Every collector's got their own way of collecting, And, you know, I'm not knocking anyone who goes about collecting in the way that they want to do, you know. As long as they're passionate about the gaming and they're preserving the games, then that's a good thing. Do excuse the aeroplanes, there's a lot today. Now, before I move on to what I want to talk about is fake games, I just want to mention the Snes Mini. I don't know if you've managed to pre-order, guys. I managed to pre-order with a company called Very, which I'm not sure about. I've never pre-ordered with them before, so I really want to get another order in with someone else, because I'm a little bit apprehensive about whether they'll deliver or not, to be honest with you. I'm extremely excited about the system, but at the same time I'm worried, because are we going to get the repeat of the NES? They have promised us more this time, but whether that's enough is another question. I mean, you've got to blame the scalpers as well, and some people that are buying up doubles of these consoles. I mean, I don't mind it if you're keeping it. You know, some people like to keep one mint unopened and the other one they used. I've got nothing against that. You know, it's people that really buying up 3 or 4 of these just to flip on. That fucking irritates me. It really does. I don't get it at all. It's just greed at the end of the day. But if you want 2 copies of something, I mean, I've got 4-box Super Nintendos, you know, so I can't talk. But if you're just buying up 3 or 4 just to flip on, then, you know, you're just contributing to the mayhem at the end of the day. And it's stopping true Nintendo fans, SNES fans, picking these up, which is a real shame. But I really hope that Nintendo flood the market this time, so they're not worth anything to anyone except the real collectors that want them. It's not going to happen. I don't think Nintendo will flood the market, but I wish they would. So it just fucks every flipper off, every scalper off. But yeah, some fantastic games on there. I mean, top end games as well. I mean, you got Earthbound, which is, you know, 500 quid game all day long, isn't it? Or 200-300 kart all day long. Metroid, Super Mario World, F-Zero. I mean, Star Fox 2, which I haven't even played myself, which would be really cool to play. So I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I'm not joining the mayhem. I'm not going to be overly worried if I don't get one, because I've got my SNES connection, and I can play it on a CRT, which I'd rather do anyway than through HDMI on a flat screen. But it is the convenience of having this little SNES Mini and maybe taking it on holiday with you. You know, that's a great thing. How many holiday homes have got CRTs? Not many now. So it's a nice little console to take away to your caravan or whatever, or have in the front room or in your spare room for when people come round, they've got something to play. I think it's a really cool thing. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, but at the same time I am extremely worried about people getting them, you know, and I hope you all do get them, because obviously you're all Super Nintendo fans, or you wouldn't be watching this. But yeah, some fantastic games on there. Really, really is. Can't wait to get it, to be honest with you. I'd like to get the US one and the Japanese one if I can. I'd like to get all 3. Have them all lined up in a row would be cool. But anyway, let's get on to fake games, because there's a lot of shit going around. There's a lot of fake games going around, and I've been caught out only once actually, and it was with a console. I've never been caught out of any games yet. I'm pretty good at seeing if they're fake or not. I mean, especially when I buy a top end, I always make sure the seller opens the cart up so I can see inside, so I can see the ROM and the PCB number. But, you know, you've got to look at the box first. So let's have a look at the box. So say, for example, this game here, Pocket Rocky 2, top-end game, well worth over 500 quid box. You want to know this thing's legit. So first thing, looking at the box, you can see there's a little bit of wear. That is really hard to make, to make it look 25 years old. It is hard to make a box look like that. If you're going for a box that looks mint, you're trying to get the mintiest box ever, then you're getting into the territory, you're treading into the water of like fakes, really, because a lot of fakes look brand new, and they're selling you on the fact they're trying to get as much money out of you as possible. So, you know, if it's a sealed game or if it's a really minty game, it's more worth their while trying to make a fake than trying to make a fake game for a cheaper game, if you see what I mean. So the things to look out for on the box, well, is the colour palette of the box. Loads of colour, very vibrant. A lot of the fake boxes are quite dark in shade. They just don't look right. You know, you see what I mean. I haven't got a fake to compare it, unfortunately, but it is slightly darker. Also, this red line here is sometimes out of place or not even there. It may be even on the top, might be slightly to the left, might be slightly to the right, but it'd be out of colour and in the wrong place. And also the purple tab, which is the tab that you open the box from, the end of the box from. Always open the box from where the purple tab is. Retro Dave taught me that. That might be slightly discoloured. And just look out for general things, you know, the seal of approval. Does that look clear to you? Sometimes, like when I bought the Snes Mini, that was really blurred and out of focus. And on part of the box, it was actually even missing. So always look out for the Nintendo seal of approval. So I'm going to open it up now, guys. I'm going to show you the cart. Now, so if you're buying a top-end game, you've got to ask the seller, can I have a look at the PCB? The only way you can look at the PCB, if you undo these two screws here, they're hexagonal screws. Now, he may not have one of these. Now, if he's selling a top-end game like this guy did with mine, he opened it up so I could see on eBay the ROM number and I could compare it on the internet and it all added up. If he hasn't got one of these, you've got to make sure you've got one. They're about £3. You get 2 screwdrivers. Just type in Snes screwdriver and they're about £3. It could save you a lot of money, guys. So it's a hexagonal screwdriver. It'll undo these hexagonal screws. There's 2 screws on the cart. Okay, undo those 2 screws. And you'll see what I mean when I open it right up. But be careful not to lose the screws, they do pop out. So inside there you've got the PCB, okay, and it only goes back one way, so don't worry about taking it out and forgetting which way it goes back. And that is the PCB, a bit like an arcade PCB if you like. It's got the edge connector along here, and you've got the 2 ROMs here and the PROM set here. But at the top, this is what you're looking for. It's got Nintendo and it's got the code of the PCB on here. Okay, now there might, when you look this code up, if you just type in Snes and that code, you'll get the number come up. But you might get 3 or 4 games that use this same PCB, because they did do that. So this might have, Pocky Rocky 1 might be on the same code as this. But it doesn't matter, as long as that code matches up with that one you see on the internet, then you know it's legit. And if you get a fake, guys, it will look completely different from this. Completely different. It won't have Nintendo on there, it won't have the code. It won't probably even have these proms on here either. It'll just look completely different. You'll know straight away. But that's what you're looking for. That number there, which is SHVC2ACN11. You can check that up and it'll tell you that is a legit Pocky Rocky 2 PCB. So that's what you need to do if you're buying a top-end game. I don't think it's so important for games for under 50 quid, because to be honest with you, the amount of effort that goes into making a fake of one of these, it's not worth their while doing it for a low-end game. It's got to be for a top-end game. I would say at least check your games over 200 quid, because otherwise it's not worth their while. They wouldn't bother doing it, especially if you're buying minty games. So I just thought I'd get that out there, guys. I mean, I've done it, you know, I bought fake, so there's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, it's easily done, and they're getting so good at making good looking carts these days. They look so good. It's very hard to spot a fake, but that's one thing they can't copy. It's getting very difficult. There's so much effort into doing that. To get your code and Nintendo printed on a PCB costs a bit of money. I know that because we're working on something for the Sky Skipper, and we're trying to get these little Sky Skipper PCBs done. So I know how much it costs and how much work there is involved in doing that. So that's just something to look out for, guys, when you're buying top-end SNES games. Anyway, that is it for this week, guys. I haven't got a tripod, so I can't do a gameplay, unfortunately. But I'll make up for it in the next video. I've got some very cool SNES games coming, even better than this lot I've showed you today. Some very nice SNES games from a collector in Sweden, so I'm really looking forward. They should arrive any day now, actually. And I'm going to Blackpool. I don't know how many of you guys are going to Blackpool in 2 weeks' time. Replay Blackpool. I've never been to Blackpool. I'm really excited. I'm driving up on the Friday and staying Friday night and just staying Saturday. Then I might pop my head into the arcade club Saturday night. But yeah, guys, if you're going, come over and say hello. I'm also looking forward to meeting all the YouTubers, all my mates up there. Tootie, Dave and Jay, and I don't know, I think Daz is going as well. So it's going to be great to see all you guys again. And any followers, subscribers to the channel. Can't wait. And we've got another arcade tour. Game room tour, giving that away, haven't I? We've got a game room tour coming up, right? This game room tour I've been trying to arrange for well over a year. I'd say about a year and a half. I've been trying to nail this guy down. He's a very difficult guy to get down and on camera. And he has one of the biggest collections in Europe, if not the world. He's one of the biggest collectors. I'm not saying he is the biggest collector. He is one of them. So it gives you a good idea of what you're about to see. Honestly, guys. I mean, I've seen bits of it before, but I've never seen the whole collection. I'm going to try and get it all on camera. It's going to be an extremely long video tour of his games rooms. Yeah, games rooms. There's a few. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm doing this on Saturday. So yeah, really looking forward to that. That'll be out next week before I go up to Blackpool. Replay Blackpool, hopefully. So can't wait for that. Anyway, that's it, guys. I'm running out of steam. Thanks for watching, thanks for all the new subs, and thanks for all the comments on the last video, the Sky Skipper video. The support for that was absolutely unbelievable, guys. Really, really cool. I've got a package actually coming from America soon, my Sky Skipper package, which I can't wait to get. Anyway, that's it. Take care, have a good weekend, and I'll see you next week on the next video, the Game Room Tour. Make sure you watch out for it. See you later.